Hello everyone. In today's class, we are going to see a very important distinction between two aspects of language given by Saussure. It is Langue and Parole. Modern linguistics is based on some fundamental concepts which were expounded by linguists in the beginning of the 20th century. So the main ideas regarding language propounded by few linguists take the form of certain distinctions or dichotomies by means of which we have been able to understand the nature of language in a more systematic and complete way. So today we are going to see a very important dichotomy. It is Langue and Parole given by Saussure. Let's know about Langue first. So Langue means language. That is, all the rules and the conventions regarding the combination of sounds, formation of words and sentences, pronunciation, and meaning. Okay, so all these conventions constitute Langue and are a product of social agreements. So that is why Langue is social, because it is a set of conventions shared by all the speakers of a language. Okay, and it is abstract. Why is it abstract? Because these particular conventions exist in the minds of the speaker who belong to that society that has created the language. So Langue is actually social and Langue is abstract. That is, there is a similarity of sounds, words, and meaning among the native speakers of a language, which means that they have the same images and signs in their mind. So all the images, the signs that exist in a mind of a group of community is called as Langue. That is why it is social, it is abstract because it exists in the mind. Okay. Next is Parole. So Parole, on the other hand, it belongs to the individual. So previously we saw Langue is social, whereas Parole is an individual performance of the language in speech or writing because it belongs to individual. So when those conventions that exist in the mind as Langue are used in a concrete form in the actual speech or writing, they become the instances of Parole. Understood? So Langue is social, it is abstract, it exists in our mind, whereas when you give a concrete form to the Langue, the abstract thing that is present in your mind, if you give a concrete form in an actual speech or in writing, they become the instances of what? Parole. Okay, so parole is the actual sounds and the sentences that is produced by an individual speaker or a writer. It is a concrete as well as a physical manifestation of the abstract Langue that exist in the mind. So parole is an individual performance of language in speech or writing. It is concrete and physical. It makes use of the physiological mechanisms such as speech organs in uttering words and sentences. Okay, so Langue is social, parole is individual. Langue is abstract because it exists in the mind of the speaker, whereas parole is concrete because it gives a concrete form. It exists in the actual speech or the writing. Okay, so let us know in depth about Langue and Parole. Okay, so Langue, it exists in the mind of each individual in the form of word images and knowledge of conventions. That is an abstract form of the grammar and dictionary of the language. So you can say like for example, you have some stored images, words or meanings or sub meanings, something that is similar. Things are just stored in your mind. Okay, that is Langue. Whereas if you take Parole, an individual, if he makes use of this knowledge, the knowledge that exists in his mind, in his or an own way to produce the actual sentences, then it is called as Parole. Okay, so from this, you can come to a conclusion that language system is Langue, while language behavior is Parole. Okay, to make it understand more clearly, there is a small example where Langue is considered as the legislative side of the language, whereas Parole is considered as the executive side of the language. Okay, so Saussure here, he considered Langue as the legislative side of language because, like law, Langue maintains the social order and the homogeneity of the language, and it is relatively fixed, which means it does not change with each individual. Whereas Parole is the executive side of the language because It uses the law or code of the language for its individual ends. So it executes Langue through the individual act of speaking and writing. Okay, so Saussure comes to a conclusion saying that only Langue can be studied and not Parole. Okay, why he's giving this is because Langue is a well-defined homogeneous object, and it also consists of signs which bear the stamp of collectively approval, and which exist as the psychological associations having their seat in the brain. So these signs can be converted into conventional writing symbols, so they can be studied, whereas individual acts of speaking, on the other hand, cannot be accurately represented and are so variable that they cannot be studied. Therefore, according to Saussure, it is only Langue and not Parole is the fit object for study. So that's all for today. Hope you have understood today's session. So I have given few questions here. So kindly try to answer these questions. I'll meet you in the next class. Thank you.